Most of us were raised with the idea that being nice is the ultimate key to a happy life and a successful career. We were taught to help others and to be team players and to avoid conflict at all costs. But there is a hidden trap in this mindset that many people only discover when they are already exhausted and undervalued. If you find yourself constantly saying yes to things you do not want to do, you are not being a good person. You are actually being a dishonest one. By saying yes when you mean no, you are essentially lying to yourself and to the person asking for your help. This lack of boundaries is one of the greatest silent killers of personal potential and financial success. Today we are going to explore the transformative power of assertiveness and why the art of saying no is the most important skill you can develop for your bank account and your mental health. To understand why assertiveness is so difficult, we have to look at the basic human fear of rejection. We are social animals, and for thousands of years being cast out of the group meant certain death. This biological hardwiring makes us want to please others so we can stay safe within the tribe. However, in the modern world, this instinct often backfires. When you become a chronic people pleaser, you essentially hand over the keys to your life to anyone who makes a request of you. You become a supporting character in everyone else's story while your own goals gather dust on the shelf. Assertiveness is the middle ground between being a doormat and being a bully. It is the ability to state your needs and your boundaries clearly and respectfully without feeling the need to apologize for your existence. The financial impact of a lack of assertiveness is staggering. There is a famous study conducted by researchers from the University of Notre Dame and the University of Iowa which looked at the trait of agreeableness in the workplace. They found that men who were highly agreeable and had a hard time saying no earned significantly less than their less agreeable counterparts. On average, the difference was nearly $10,000 per year. This happens because people who lack assertiveness rarely negotiate for higher salaries, and they often take on extra work without asking for additional compensation. They are seen as reliable, but they are rarely seen as leaders. In the business world, if you do not ask for what you are worth, the world will happily give you exactly zero. Furthermore, the art of saying no is the ultimate tool for time management. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, but the most successful people in the world protect those hours with an almost religious intensity. Warren Buffett famously said that the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. Every time you say yes to a trivial meeting or a social obligation, you do not care about you or saying no to your own deep work and your own financial freedom. You are trading your most valuable asset, which is time, for a momentary sense of social approval. Assertive individuals understand that their time has a high market value and they refuse to give it away for free to anyone who asks. However, assertiveness is not just about making more money. It is also about protecting your biological health. When you live in a state of constant passivity and you are unable to set boundaries, your body stays in a state of chronic stress. Researchers at Columbia University have studied the link between assertiveness and leadership effectiveness. They found that individuals who are too low in assertiveness often suffer from higher levels of cortisol because they are constantly worried about upsetting others or being overwhelmed by the demands placed on them. This chronic stress leads to burnout and a weakened immune system. By learning to say no, you are literally giving your nervous system permission to relax. You are taking control of your environment instead of being a victim of it. But like any powerful tool, assertiveness has its downsides and its risks. One of the biggest challenges of becoming more assertive is the social backlash from people who are used to taking advantage of you. When you start setting boundaries, the people who benefited from you having none will often react with anger or guilt tripping. They might call you selfish or cold. This is especially true in family dynamics where roles are deeply entrenched. This is why many people give up on being assertive before they even start. They cannot handle the temporary discomfort of social friction. However, it is important to realize that anyone who gets angry at you for setting a boundary is exactly the person who was benefiting from you not having one. The short-term conflict is the price you pay for long-term respect. There is also a phenomenon known as the assertiveness sweet spot. The same Columbia University study found that if you are too assertive, you can be perceived as aggressive and hostile, which can also damage your career. The goal is to be firm but fair. It is about using "I" statements such as, "I cannot take on this project right now because I am focusing on my current priorities," rather than attacking the other person. Successful assertiveness is about clarity of communication. When you speak with conviction and you do not waffle, people naturally start to trust your word more. They know that when you say yes, you truly mean it and you will deliver. This builds a reputation for integrity which is worth more than any single business deal. In the realm of psychology, there is a concept called the sociometer theory, which suggests that our self-esteem is a gauge of our social standing. People with low assertiveness often have low self-esteem because they feel like they have no agency. By practicing the art of saying no in small ways, you start to rebuild that internal sense of power. You prove to yourself that you are the captain of your own ship. This psychological shift is often the catalyst for major life changes, such as starting a business or leaving a toxic relationship. Once you realize that you have the right to say no, the entire world starts to look different. You stop seeing opportunities as obligations and you start seeing your life as a series of deliberate choices. Ultimately, assertiveness is a muscle that needs to be trained. You do not wake up one day and suddenly have the courage to decline every unreasonable request. You start small. You say no to a coffee date you do not want to go to. You tell a coworker you cannot help them with a task until your own work is finished. Each time you do this, you are reclaiming a small piece of your life. Over time, these small victories add up to a life of purpose and prosperity. You will find that you have more energy and more money and more respect from the people who truly matter. The path to success is not paved with being nice to everyone. It is paved with being honest with yourself and having the courage to speak that truth to the world. Thank you for exploring the psychology of success and the power of boundaries with me today. It is a journey that requires courage, but the rewards are beyond measure. If this deep dive into assertiveness and the art of saying no gave you a new perspective on your own potential, please hit the like button. It helps our community of high achievers grow and ensures these important lessons reach the people who need them most. What is the hardest thing for you to say no to? Is it a family member or a boss, or perhaps your own inner critic? Let me know in the comments below, because I am very interested to hear your stories and the challenges you face in setting your own boundaries. If you want to keep exploring the habits and mindsets that lead to true freedom and wealth, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. To keep your momentum going right now, click on the video on your screen to learn more about the science of high performance. Until next time, stay firm in your values and protect your peace and move forward.